Thank you, Zoom.
That was not as fun as Discord.
No, that wasn't as fun as Discord.
Zoom's kind of lame. It was like, recording in progress. Discord was like, I am recording.
It was like, I am recording.
People, baby robot, I'm recording you.
Like a robot with Asperger's.
What if it was that aggressive about it too?
It's like this robot that has like some type of like mental disability.
He's like gritting his teeth really hard.
It's like my motherboard was dropped when I was a child.
They ejected my USB drive. Can you do your rendition of what I sounded like?
Oh God,
is it even possible?
I'm fucking horrible at impressions now. That wouldn't even like begin to explain what that sounded like.
I thought that maybe it was like a bunch of like inhuman sounding gibberish.
It was. I don't even know how I would begin to recreate that.
Oh man.
Let's try this again.
Okay. So you can't hear me. I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You want me to try and bring it in one more time?
Yep. Try to bring it in one more time, and everybody's going to have to get over the audio quality on this one.
Oh boy. Hello and welcome to the 11th episode of the Thicc Bois Podcast. This is actually the third time that we've tried to record this episode.
It is. In fact, it is. It's late.
Yeah. So me and Wesley, we were trying to record over Discord, and Discord was just not fucking having it. You probably heard us talking a second ago. At some point during the call, it stopped sending my audio to Wesley, and then everything that I had said for like the past like minute and a half, it sent it to him all at once. So he just heard like this, I don't know, garbled mess.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking crazy sounding.
It's like I would be talking for like a minute or whatever, and then like I would stop waiting for like Wesley to give his input, and then it was just this long pause, and then Wesley would come back in like just laughing his ass off.
Yeah, because we were talking about how it was like you're just like sitting there with like this insane person. I can just like see it in my head. It's like this person just sitting there just staring off into space, and then all of a sudden they just start howling, laughing. That'd be somebody you'd stick in a mental institution.
Oh yeah, immediately. You put him in the wagon right away. Yeah, so about 3 weeks ago, we tried to record episode 11. And so my computer and all the recording like software is in the room adjacent to the room where we actually sit down and record. So me and Wesley went in there. I hit record. We go into the room. We do our thing. And, probably about hour and 45 minutes later, we go out. And we found out they had only recorded about 6 minutes of episode 11.
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing.
Yeah, it was super disappointing because that was a good episode too.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
We talked about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it was we even talked about now.
We talked about stand-up comedy. We talked about abortion, the death penalty. We talked about fucking our first time, our weed stories. The first time we did weed. Yeah. We talked about all kinds of stuff, and you'll never get to hear it, unfortunately.
No, that was a conversation that will remain in the ether.
Yeah, yeah. It just
the only people that know are me, you, and the universe.
Yeah. It just sucked because it kind of threw a wrench in it. But so we're going to try and do an episode over Zoom. Yeah, I want to go ahead and apologize for the audio quality. I I'm sitting in front of my computer right now recording, and so now I know I sound like I'm sitting in like a bathroom or something, or like in a tin can, but that's because I'm not in the room that has all the blankets and shit nailed into the wall to soak up all the sound. But I'll eventually get moved in there. But we're going to try this, and hopefully it works well.
Yeah,
And
I'm going to end up sounding the same way too, because I can't with the blanket over myself.
oh yeah,
I can't do it. I cannot do it.
I told Wesley, I was like, throw a blanket over yourself to see if you can get rid of some of that room noise. And he's in a hotel room in Delaware. So
There's probably no telling what kind of stains.
You're gonna wake up tomorrow and just have like a big rash on the back of your head.
I'm gonna have like pink eye.
Oh man, but yeah. So hopefully this works well. And if this does work, we should be able to, put out more episodes more frequently. That way, we're not having to wait for, those small windows where we can actually get together and record.
Yeah, that too. And I'm going to try to get some equipment maybe that I can bring with me that might help with the audio quality as well.
Yeah. So this is our test run using the power of technology. And I'll edit in like a cool, laser noise right there.
Oh, like a pew, pew, pew.
Yeah. Like the sound that you hear at the beginning of I'm Blue by Eiffel 45, whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's like, God, that song was huge. Was that the name of that band? It was like Eiffel something.
What was that? The mid 90s that came out?
Eiffel 65. I said Eiffel 45. It was off by 20, but whatever. I actually don't know. But I remember it being big when I was a kid. And I feel like you heard it. Okay, first of all, when you're a kid, you go to a skating rink so much.
Yeah, and then you never go back.
Yeah. Like skating rinks are a huge part of your life.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember like being a kid and seeing like teenagers that were like 18, 19. It's like every time I'm up here, you're here.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you sure that wasn't like the employees?
I don't know. They were out there skating. They were out there skating. So I'm assuming they weren't employees.
I don't know. 1998, by the way.
It was in 1998.
Yeah. But that was, as far as I know, that was the only thing I ever heard out of Eiffel 65.
Are you sure that was them?
I'm looking at Google right now. It says Blue, in the parentheses, Dabadi, also known as I'm Blue, is the debut single of Eiffel 65, released on October 7th, 1998.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about now.
So you actually know this band?
Yeah.
That song is all I know about from them.
What, Blue?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about there was another song I was thinking about. I don't know why.
Another one of those bands with a word and number.
No, it was
Sum 41, Blink 182.
No, it was who did that song You're Unbelievable?
What?
I don't know why I thought of that song.
Unbelievable.
No, Unbelievable. It was like, You're unbelievable.
Oh. Yeah, I don't think that's the same band. Actually, I don't even know if that's the lyrics, Wesley.
No, that's not Unbelievable song. This is going to take so long.
So there's a song called You're Unbelievable by EMF.
Oh, is that it?
I guess. I mean, I can't play it because my mic will pick it up and then we'll get copyright strikes.
Yeah, I think that's them. I don't know why I thought of that.
Oh, wait. I think I know what song you're talking about. I feel like I heard this song a lot in movies.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about.
yeah. That I don't
Okay.
know. I guess I was thinking along. I don't know. It's not really like the same genre, but it kind of be they're in the same like things. I
Yeah.
guess
It says that Eiffel 65 was a Eurobeat.
a Euro
What
beat. What is that?
Eurobeat was that's the genre. Eurobeat.
Huh? Never heard of that
Like
before.
Euro as in European and beat as in like sick beats.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I've never heard of that before though.
No. Well, Wesley, do you have any stories to share? Anything that's happened to you over the past 3 weeks?
When I checked into the hotel the other day, the little shade thing was duct taped to it.
The what?
Yeah, and then it like fell on the floor.
Wait, what shade thing?
Yeah, like the nightshade, like the thing that you like lower down so the sunlight doesn't come into the room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so for like hotel rooms and stuff, there's like that, and there's like a privacy curtain that kind of like it doesn't block out the sun, but it kind of like people can't really kind of see that you're in here or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard to explain, but anyway, that one was like all the way at the top, and they had like duct taped the nightshade to like the motor thing. And I was like, what in the world? Because I heard something like pop, and I looked behind me, and it was like coming down. And
It was like your room's falling apart on you.
yeah, and so in the privacy shade was all the way at the top. So I like called the people, and I was like, hey, I was like, it's like this thing's gonna fall on the floor. It's like, and there's no way for me to lower the privacy shade. And they were like, well, we'll call somebody. And I was like, who? Call who?
Like you have a guy for this?
Yeah. And then so like today or no, last night I went down and it fell on the floor. Like it was laying on the floor. And so there was just like this big open window, like this big window everybody could like see into my room. And I'm like on the second floor. So I mean, at least I wasn't on the first.
Yeah. So you're not like an exhibit for passersby.
Like we call this one like the American Traveler or something like that.
Yeah. He's like pacing back and forth. Some mom is like looks at her daughter. She's like, "Don't look him in the eye." It's a challenge if you do that.
But so I went down. I was like, "Hey, I called you guys. Like the thing's on the floor now." I was like, "In the privacy shades all the way at the top." I was like, "Can I get the remote at least so I can close the privacy shade?" And they're like, they gave it to me, and then like the girl was like, she was like, "Now I need you to give that back." I was like, why are you getting attitude with me?
Yeah.
Like,
You're the one whose facility is crumbling. Like I paid with with the idea that I would have some privacy in my hotel room.
yeah. I was just like, how? I was like, why are you getting upset with me?
What if like the person they called was just like some dude who came to your room and he like stood in the window with his arms stretched like so nobody could see past him? He's like, I got you covered, buddy. Don't worry.
He's like has like a trench coat, but he's like naked.
He's like, they can't see in and they ain't gonna want to look.
Oh god, he just like have his like junk pressed up against the window.
Smashed up against it. Like a fucking mammogram. Oh my gosh.
Oh god.
Yeah, so any of you that are I would imagine that a lot of you listening are friends with me on Facebook. If you are, you've probably seen my posts over the past couple of days. I have been in the process of passing my very first ever kidney stone. And boy, let me tell you, that's fucking awful. It is I mean, it is without a doubt the single most painful thing I have ever experienced in my life.
And you went to the doctor for that, right? Like,
yeah. So when I say passing a kidney stone, I kind of just mean like the whole process of it. I don't mean like the actual like pissing it out, because that hasn't happened yet, as far as I know. I still haven't like peed the thing out. So what happened was last Friday, I woke up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I go into I wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had this like, at the time it was kind of just like pressure. I felt like pressure in my left side. And I thought that I was like, oh man, I got to go rip a fucking Duke. So I just jump up and I run into the bathroom, and I sit down on the toilet, and like nothing's happening. And the pressure has turned into pain, like full blown pain.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, what the hell is happening to me?
Yeah.
And so like, I've eventually
alien thing's gonna come out of you.
It's what it fucking felt like. And so like I stood up, and I'm like pacing back and forth in the bathroom, like laid down on the tile, and I'm like, the pain's not going away. Like it's not one of those pains where you can kind of like, lay a certain way or twist a certain way to kind of get away from it.
Yeah. You're just like writhing in pain.
Yeah, it's the organ inside your body. You can't get away from it. So
yeah.
I'm like, I'm kind of like trying to muscle my way through this. And I look in the bathroom mirror, and I'm like, as white as a sheet of copy paper, and I'm covered in sweat. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, something is amiss. And
like, so like bloops of yourself.
Yeah, I got a good look at myself.
Yeah.
In my lowest
You're like,
point.
who's this poor son of a bitch?
Just like I like recoiled away from myself, like when you whip open the blinds on a vampire.
Yeah.
So I go into the bedroom, and I wake Mary up, and I'm just, there was no like tactful way for me to wake her up, like in the amount of pain that I was in, and the fact that it was 1 o'clock in the morning. So I just walk over and I just shake her. I'm like, Mary, you have to take me to the hospital.
I just like got this vision. You just like running and jumping on top of him, like it hurts so bad.
It's like screaming.
That sounds like something like Peter Griffin would do.
So Mary woke up, and I remember her kind of being like, "Oh, what?" Oh. Like she was kind of, she kind of startled, and she later told me that she did something. She was like, "I'm sorry that I acted the way I did when you woke me up," and I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, I made that noise, and I was like, "Look, I'll be honest with you, I don't remember." I was in some way. All I knew is that I got the words out. You need to take me to the hospital. After that, I just shut down and just focused on the pain. Like, so we get in the car, and she takes me to the hospital. And like, I mean, I can barely move. Like, I'm shaking and like, stumbling. Let me try to explain what the pain felt like. The best way I can describe it is if somebody took a knife and stuck it in a fire for like an hour, and then took it out and then stuck it in you. Jeez. That's what that felt. I mean, no exaggeration. That's exactly what that felt like. And it was just getting worse. It was not getting any better. So we go to the ER, and they're taking all my information and everything. And they finally get me back in a room. And they're like, hey, we're going to need you to pee in this cup. And the thing that sucked was like when I had first got up that morning and I went in the bathroom, I peed. So I'm like, God, I don't know if I can pee. So, but that was a whole other thing. We were probably in the hospital for about an hour before they finally gave me something for the pain. Yeah. They laid me down, and I just remember like, kind of like my memory of it is kind of hazy because I was just in that much pain. And like, I remember coming to, and they were saying, sir, you need to lay down. And they were trying to get me to lay down in the bed so they could put an IV in my arm and give me fluids and do all that stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I lay down, and I'm just writhing in pain. And eventually she's like, I want to give you some morphine. And I was like, And then that kind of shocked me a little bit. I was like, ooh, morphine. I was like, I know I'm in a lot of pain right now. But morphine, I was like, my understanding, morphine was like for people who have been like shot, or like have like, major damage. But I mean, I wasn't going to say, oh no, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I was just like, please God, anything.
Yeah.
So they gave me a shot of morphine, and it was not like the last time I had morphine. I'd only had it once before. The first time I got it, it kind of felt like somebody laid a warm blanket over me. This time it was like a dull ache starting from like the top of my head going down to my toes. And I was just like, I'm not even enjoying the morphine.
You're like, dear God, what is this?
Yeah, I'm like, and I still don't know that I have a kidney stone. Like, I still don't know that that's what it is. Yeah. All I know is something is very wrong. And like suddenly wrong, because the night before I felt totally fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, they got me to do a CAT scan and blah blah blah. And the doctor comes in and he's like, "Hey, so you're passing a kidney stone. It's 3 millimeters." And I just kind of looked at him and I was like, that's it?
Yeah.
I was like, 3 millimeters? It's a 3 millimeter stone and I'm in this much pain.
Is that considered a large stone or?
No, that's on the small side.
Really?
Yeah. But he was like, yeah. So the thing is, you have your kidney and your bladder, and in between your kidney and bladder is like this tube, and it's called a ureter. And what happens is the stone starts in your kidney, it dislodges, and it tries to travel down through the ureter, but it gets lodged in there. And so the urine that your kidney is making can't reach the bladder. So it's causing back pressure and causing your kidney to swell. And
Jesus Christ.
That was the pain that I was feeling.
Yeah.
So, your ureter is very, very small. It's not very big. So It doesn't take a huge kidney stone to jam the thing up.
Yeah.
But all that being said, I feel okay now. I've had it past like past 3 days have been relatively painless. I'm just kind of like, every time I go pee, I'm like, oh, here it comes. But it hasn't happened yet, so I don't know. We'll see.
Did they say how long it will take for like you to like get rid of it?
They said 5 days to a week. And that was last Friday when they caught it. So I mean, Saturday today. So
is it possible that you might have passed it and didn't know?
Everybody that I've asked, like the urologists and everybody, they said you would know if you passed it.
Yeah.
And I kind of believe them.
Yeah.
Because they showed me some pictures of what kidney stones look like. And I'm like, yeah, if I peed one of those things out, I definitely know that thing's not going to sneak past me.
Yeah. Isn't that what happened to Dad? Like he hit the floor when he passed it.
Yeah. And so Dad took me to the urologist on Monday, I think it was. And he was telling me, he was like, yeah, he's like, I had a kidney stone, but he's like, I never had any of like the pain in my side like you had. He said, I was just peeing and then all of a sudden I was on the fucking floor. And I was like, God, I wish that's what I had instead, because God, it was awful. And they gave me Percocet and 600 milligram Tylenol to stay on top of the pain. And I don't like the idea of taking opioids.
Yeah.
So I think Sunday I was like, I'm just going to try and just take the Tylenol today. And I think I made it to about 11 o'clock and I was like, give me the Percocet, please. Oh, it's so bad. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I swear.
So is that the last day that you've gone without taking them?
The last one I took was Tuesday, actually.
Wow.
Because I tried to so it's all happened Friday. I sent all my bosses and everybody an email saying like, hey, look, I'm not going to be at work today. I'm in the ER.
No.
I was like, I'll try to come in as soon as I can.
No.
So Monday I had a good day. I didn't take any Percocet that day. I had like one Tylenol that morning. That's all I had the whole day. And I was like, okay, I think I'm kind of on the back end of this thing now.
Yeah.
So Tuesday morning, I go to work and I sat down in my chair in my office, and like 20 minutes later, I was like, I'm leaving. I swear I made it 20 minutes. It was just like, I felt fine that morning too. But like for some reason, when I got to work and I sat down in my chair, it just started hurting real bad.
Wow. Huh.
So I went home, I took a Percocet and passed out in bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the last time I took one.
Right.
But yeah, so this time with Percocet was exactly the same as last time. So like the last time I had Percocet was when I had my dental surgery.
Yeah. Did they not give you that when you almost blew your thumb off?
No, they didn't. Oh God, maybe they did. I don't remember, to be entirely honest.
Yeah.
But I knew that they gave me a Percocet for when I had my dental surgery. But it was like my experience with Percocet or oxycodone is I'm in pain. I take a pill. I suddenly fall asleep and then wake up when the pill wears off because I'm in pain again. So I never really get to enjoy the no pain part.
Yeah, you're just asleep the entire time.
Yeah, which I mean, I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Because yeah, if it wasn't for the Percocet, I wouldn't have got any sleep at all.
Oh, I imagine so.
Or those 5 days.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. It's like plus that and like anything that's like bothering you always seems to get worse at night.
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
And it depending on how I lay down in bed, it would hurt regardless of where, like how I lay down.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I said, because it's an organ on the inside of your body. There's not really much you can do to kind of like get at it. Like if you got a pain like in your wrist, you can kind of like put some pressure on it and maybe kind of hold it a certain way. But yeah, not with that motherfucker.
Yeah, with that you can't really. There's really nothing you can do.
Nope. And I asked the doctor.
Really, like, is there anything I can do to kind of?
Yeah, I asked him. I was like, because he told me, he said when you have your first kidney stone, he's like, you're more susceptible to it. He was like, you will likely have another one at some point. But I asked him, I was like, is there anything I can do to like kind of stave these things off?
Yeah.
And in so many words, he told me no.
Jeez.
Yeah. I told him, I was like, I stopped drinking energy drinks and soda. Like I don't drink soda. It's like I really only drink water. And he was like, yeah, it's great. He's like, you should only drink water. You should only drink water.
You should only drink water.
Yeah.
It's like some guy from Boston.
But yeah, he was like, you should only drink water. He's like, but I mean, you're just, if you have them, you have them. And I was like, well, okay.
Damn. That sucks.
Yeah, it does. So now I feel like, and Mary's trying to tell me, she's like, look, don't be anxious about it. She's like, you're fine now. Just be grateful for that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But at the same time, I'm like, man, what if it catches me like when I'm an hour and a half away from home?
Yeah. It's like, I just like have to sit and writhe in pain in the truck.
Yeah.
You're like on the side of the highway, like flopping around like a fish.
Just screaming, sweating. I feel like at some point I'll just pass out.
Yeah. You're just like off on the side of like 285.
Yeah. And, Dad brought up a good point. And he was like, what about like pioneers? People that lived, they lived hard.
Yeah.
Like, what do they do if they got a kidney stone?
Because you just kept going.
I guess, because consider if it was like just you by yourself, you got like this farmstead you got to look after.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back then it was probably like, oh no, he came down with the consumption.
Yeah. Like, or he's got a devil in him. They burn him alive.
The only thing we found after he was gone was this stone.
Yeah, there's just a strange stone left behind amidst his bones. We call it the devil's testicle. I wonder how many things like that. Like,
meanwhile, this guy's just like, "Dear God, make the pain stop."
yeah. Well, I mean, at a certain point, for me, the pain got so bad I couldn't explain
Yeah.
what was happening to me. I couldn't even all I could do was just go like, oh. That's all I could do. But yeah, so like, I wonder how many times, like in history, like think about like the Salem witch trials. You know, people were like acting crazy, so they just fucking murdered them. How many of those people were like having some kind of medical condition that could have been treated?
Well, what was it? Apparently, there's like a type of fungus or something that grows on the wheat, that has the same sort of like effect as like certain types of psychedelic drugs. So
Really?
so I had read this somewhere, and it's like said that if they track, like, they know how, however like long it takes for like this normal outbreak to happen with this on the wheat. And so they tracked it back to that time period and they said that people in that area would have been consuming that wheat with that parasite or fungus or whatever it was growing on it. So it said they might have been having like bad trips and they didn't know what was going on,
They just ate some stale bread and they fucking lost it.
Yeah, everybody's just fucking cranked out of their head.
Zonked. Everybody's zonked out of their gourd.
Yeah.
That's like
somebody's just having a crazy trip. They're like, I can see sound, man.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, he's a fucking witch. Burn him.
Nah, I can taste colors, man. It's like there was the
Tommy Chong.
yeah, hey man. It was the dancing fever. Did you ever hear about that? I don't think it was called Dance Fever, but there was
It sounds like the name of like a shitty spinoff DDR game.
Like comes with the Wii.
Yeah, like welcome to Dance Fever.
Yeah, we've got Ace of Base, and that's it. There was some I guess it was like a village or a township or something somewhere. I mean, I got Google right in front of me, but it was like a village of people, and all of a sudden, like they just started like dancing, like everybody.
Yeah.
The whole village was dancing. They all danced themselves to death. Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's an absurd thing I've never heard.
It was called the Dancing Plague of 1518. Yeah. This says the outbreak, this is on Wikipedia. The outbreak began in July 1518 when a woman began to dance fervently in a street in Strasbourg, wherever that is. By early September, the outbreak began to subside. Yeah. The modern theories are that it was food poisoning, possibly. And I've had food poisoning before.
Yeah,
it doesn't make you want to dance.
It doesn't make me want to dance at all.
The other possibility is stress-induced mass hysteria. Okay, so when they say dance, it's called the dancing plague, but it was actually just a bunch of people like flopping on the ground. They weren't like doing the Charleston until they passed out. Yeah, they all thought that believed to be demonic possession, divine judgment. A woman was bitten by a tarantula. The venom was what was making her dance. The only way to cure the bite was to shimmy and to have the right sort of music available. Yeah, so I was probably wrong in saying that they all danced themselves to death. I think some people. I don't even think anybody died. As a matter of fact. Yeah, I think some people probably just kind of wiggled for a little bit, and then that was about it. Not an entire.
Imagine like seeing all these people like dancing and like dying, and like the last guy is like, "I know I can stop." He's like, the lights are getting weak.
Imagine like somebody just being a person who's like passing through. It's just like, what the fuck is going on here?
There's just like one guy river dancing, everybody else.
Yeah, just like all different types of dances. Like one, like they got like some lady twerking in a fucking mud pit next to a horse. That was the original Funky Town.
Oh god,
shit was wild. They all danced themselves to death. That is a perfect example of. Oh, hang on a second. Somewhere between. Okay, this is a huge gap. It says the dancing plague of 1518 was a case of dancing mania that occurred in Strasbourg, Alsace, modern day France, and the Holy Roman Empire from July to September. So fucking all of August, somewhere between 50 and 400 people took to dancing for days. Somewhere between 50 and 400. That's it's pretty generous.
How 50 and 400?
Yeah.
Like, and for back then, that's a large gap.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be like today, be like somewhere between 10 and 50,000.
Yeah. Somewhere in there. It's like,
well,
Price is Right.
It's like, well, I mean, are we talking about like an army size? Because that's pretty important.
Yeah, are we talking about like a graduating class or like an entire populace?
Yeah.
I don't know. But something else that happened to me over the past couple of weeks was our good friend Chris Camp, who joined us on the 10th episode. He had his son's baptism.
Oh yeah,
a couple of weeks ago, and it was a Catholic baptism, which I've never been to before. So it was really kind of neat to see all that, because there's like a lot of like, you know, pomp and circumstance involved, and very spiritual.
Yeah,
it was really cool. You know, me and you, we grew up Baptist, and I consider myself to be a non-denominational Christian. But yeah, so that was the first time I'd ever been to a Catholic baptism, so that was pretty neat. But afterward, we all went to a Mexican restaurant. Mm-hmm. Now, here's what happened. That morning, I had a bowl of cereal at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I did not eat or drink anything else until we got to the Mexican restaurant. At which point, I ordered...
You're playing with fire there.
At which point, I ordered a large Texas margarita with an extra shot of Patron.
Oh.
This isn't fucking noon. And I was fucking gone before the chips hit the table. Like, I was like immediately drunk. And I had at some point ordered a second margarita. And according to Mary, I drank that one too.
Oh wow! So you were blackout drunk, still drinking?
I swear to God, I don't remember. I remember nothing. I swear I must have been blackout drunk, but I still walked to the car and got in the car, but I just don't remember anything.
Yeah.
And like, I woke up the next morning, and I felt like my head was about to pop off my fucking shoulders because I had no water the whole day. For over 24 hours, all I had was that little bit of milk into the cereal in the morning, and then like 80 ounces of fucking alcohol. I don't even remember what my burrito looked like, but I ate the whole thing.
So you were where I was trying to get to when we went to Rockville.
Yes. I had far surpassed it.
Yeah.
I was like Super Saiyan 3 drunk. But I asked Mary.
Just like you in the Mexican restaurant, like holding margarita. And like, this is what it looks like to go even further.
And just like butt chug it right at the table. Everybody else at the table was like, oh, has he really done it? Has he really found a way to surpass Super Saiyan drunk 2? But I was really worried that I had made an ass of myself. Because I didn't remember anything. And I know what I'm like when I've got like 2 margaritas in. I get kind of loud. Yeah. Like I don't get mean or like violent or anything like that. I just get kind of goofy.
Yeah.
And I kind of lose like my filter a little bit. And Mary said that I didn't make an ass of myself. And she said you were just kind of like, loopy, like you didn't really scream or freak out or like a jackass or anything, which is, that's good because
you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, we just came from church.
Yeah.
And she was like, you did, however, kind of racistly mock one of the servers.
Oh, no.
And I was like, whoa, hang on a second. You said I wasn't a jackass. She's like, well, she was handing out the food and she said something like, she was like Cozumel salad. And like she was trying to figure out who ordered it. And like I shouted it in like a Mexican accent. But that was the only thing that I did. Thank God. But yeah, our friend Amber was in from out of town. And I don't even remember saying goodbye to her. Mary said that I was shouting something about shrimp on the way home. And after a while, I was like, I'm sorry, not shrimp, butterflies. We had seen a billboard for like Busch Gardens, and I was trying to say that the mascot for Busch Gardens was a butterfly, but I just kept shouting shrimp.
I guess you thought butterfly shrimp.
I guess, I don't know. But that is the drunkest I have ever been, and it happened so fucking fast. I mean, I got blackout drunk in like 15 minutes.
Is this before? Oh God, that's so funny.
Yeah, thankfully this was after the baptism.
Yeah,
we didn't like pregame. Because I couldn't have been a part of that. I would have had shit to go home.
Yeah, you've been sitting in the car,
just sweating it out.
Either that, or you've been in the back doing the fucking Super Saiyan.
Chris, if you're listening, and you probably are, I want to apologize again that I got really drunk. Not really drunk. I'm sorry that I got shit faced.
Your son's baptism.
At your son's baptism. at his baptism dinner, not at the baptism.
Oh yeah, not the baptism.
But it was Catholic, so it fits, right?
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, they still drink.
Yeah,
not a big deal.
Okay. Talking about margaritas reminded me of something. I'm gonna say his name, but in the podcast I'll edit it out because I don't want to drop anybody's names. But have I ever told you about?
No.
Okay. So, a lot of you probably know that Mary and I both worked at a Mexican restaurant several years ago, and that was where we met. She was a manager there, and we started dating. After like a couple of years of working there, but at some point we have I gotta figure out a name to call him. I'm gonna call him Boots because he always talked about his army boots.
Oh, I thought you meant like boots, like Dora the Explorer boots.
Oh no, God, I didn't make that connection. No, he was a white guy.
Okay.
So we had this guy started working with us. His name was Boots. And Boots was a one-upper. Like,
they're the worst.
Yeah, like the worst one-upper you could ever hope to meet. Like, we would just make up shit, and then he would be like, "No, man, let me tell you about this thing that it's just." It was kind of like a game to see how far you could push him.
Yeah.
But he always had a story that was better than yours. Well, I was kind of, it sounds mean and kind of arrogant to say this, but I was kind of his only friend.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't I wasn't mean to him, and like I kind of humored him, and because I felt bad for him. Because it was like he Boots didn't realize that he was insufferable. So I kind of befriended him a little bit. And
well, most people that are like that don't, like they're not introspective. So it's like they don't really see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like, even if I would have told him like, "Hey, you kind of suck," he would have been like, he would have just, he would have been like, "Do I suck, or is Gary just a fucking asshole?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, probably not the best way to say it to somebody though.
Yeah,
like
kind of suck.
Like thinks you're your friend, and you're just like, "Hey, some criticism real quick. You suck."
Yeah, you fucking suck, dude. You are the worst. But yeah. So at some point, he moved out of town. I don't remember where he went, but so he moved out of town. And then a few years later, I started working at the golf cart shop in Villa Rica. Mm-hmm. And one day, excuse me, one day he just walks into the garage where I'm working. I haven't seen him in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
He just suddenly walks in one day. As far as I know or knew, he was in whatever state he was in. And I was just like, "Hey, man, how you doing?"
Yeah.
I don't even remember how he found out that I worked there. I have no idea. But he was asking me like, "How have you been? How's Mary? Blah, blah, blah." He's like, "I'm only in town for a couple more days. What are y'all doing tonight?" And without even thinking, I said, "Nothing." And he was like, "Great, we can go get dinner together." And I was just like, "Oh."
You're like, "Oh no."
Oh no. But I couldn't like, wait, actually I do have some, now that you mention it, I do have something going on. So I texted Mary, I was like, "Look."
I bet Mary was like, "Damn it, Gary."
She was. I texted her, I was like, "Look, we gotta go dinner with Boots tonight." And she was just like, "Oh, okay. All right." So we just kind of bit the bullet and went to dinner with him. Yeah. And we went over to Los Cowboys. And we ordered a pitcher of margaritas. And I think I drank 2, but they're like the house margaritas, the little ones.
Yeah.
So I wasn't getting plastered or anything. And he's just telling all his stories about how he did the best this and how he knows the best of that and blah, 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 blah. And it's just going on and on and on. And he's got this margarita and he's just nursing it, just drinking as little of it as he possibly can. He's just trying to suck as much of this moment as he possibly can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we're sitting there listening to him talk. And he starts talking about how he did something to a car. He put in a thing on a car, blah, blah. I don't remember. But I do remember. He leans across the table at some point and he goes, "I shit you not, Wes. This is exactly what he says. I can get Mary to corroborate this." He holds his hands out and he goes, "The talent that these hands have, I can't explain it." And I kind of like looked at him for a second. And I just stood up and I looked at Mary and I was like, "Are you ready to go?" And we just said our goodbyes and we left. We left him there with that margarita. And I haven't seen him since. I could not fucking believe. Like, it was kind of like everybody would tell me like how much Boots sucked.
Yeah.
And like how full of himself he was. And I was always like, nah, he's not that bad.
Yeah.
He's pretty bad. He's not that bad. But when he said that,
you were just like, I can't with you.
I was like, I cannot fucking believe that you said that just now. Like, completely unironically. Like, he really believed it.
Yeah.
Unfucking believable.
I would have laughed so hard. I don't care who I ever hear say it.
It made me angry.
Like, I would just be like, you fucking bozo, you ding dong.
Fucking bozo. I like that juxtaposition of the F word and then calling somebody bozo.
You fucking bozo.
Yeah, dude, he was. I mean, God bless him. At least he's confident, right?
I mean, if that's what you want to call it.
That's what he calls it, I'm sure.
See, it is like undeserved self-righteousness.
He would have been like, I would have been telling him about the dancing plague of 1500s, and he'd be like, no, man, I got to tell you about the dancing plague of 1992.
He would just be like, you're like, oh, yeah, well, watch this. And he'd have jumped up on the table and started dancing.
Until he died.
Like, well, solves that.
The kind of problem kind of solved itself.
Oh, good.
He just, one of those people with no social skills.
Oh, yeah.
Just don't, like, you know what I mean? Don't really know how to talk to people.
Yeah, it is one of those things too. It's like people that are like that, they can really kind of go one of two ways. They can either be like really withdrawn and they don't talk at all.
Yeah.
But they talk a lot and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, or they give really limp handshakes.
Oh God. Are you thinking the same person I'm thinking about?
Yes, I'm trying to think how to affirm this with you without saying his name. Fuck it, I can just bleep it out.
Yes. That fucking limp dick handshake is like grabbing somebody's flaccid dick and
it was like shaking hands with a flaccid baby dick every single time.
It's just like he had four flaccid penises on the end of this and you gotta shake it. Like,
oh my God. Chris tried to force him to give an actual handshake one time.
he did.
And, he was like, shake my hand like a man. And he just wasn't getting it.
Oh man, that's so funny. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And he don't always want to shake your hand. I'm like, what? Stop. Nobody like we're both teenagers. We don't shake one another's hands. Not like that.
All you gotta do is walk up and say hi.
Yeah.
Like, and why is it that the one guy who wants to shake hands is like the one guy that nobody wants to shake hands with?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like some cruel, like cosmic joke.
And it's not like there is some dude that weighs like 350 pounds and has got like a vice grip hand and goes around shaking hands all day.
Yeah. I mean,
like he knows he can hurt people, so he does it. It's like this dude with this limp dick hand that goes around and wants to slap it into your hand so you can shake it.
Like just shaking hands with like a dead fish.
Like the one that's been dead for a while, so like it's super floppy.
Yeah, and like kind of laid out in the sun a little bit, so it's kind of warm.
And kind of wet. Yeah.
It's like every time he shook his hand, it was like he had his hand like cupped around his nuts for like the past 3 hours. It's
just like he had been like for the past 3 hours, he'd been holding like a glass of like ice water.
Yeah. All the condensation. Clammy hand. Here comes clam hands. He was one of those people that would anytime you were talking about a subject, they always tried to make it seem like they knew about it.
Yeah.
Just I guess it was like to try and fit in or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that never works. Like, it's much more palatable to just be like, what are you talking about? Oh, I don't know anything about that. Just kind of, if you want to be a part of the conversation, ask questions. They'll be like, oh yeah, I know all about blah, blah. And he would do that all the time. And we had class together. He sat in the desk next to me, and one of my friends sat behind me. And I was turned around talking to the friend behind me, and he kind of just puts himself into the conversation. I think we were talking about paintball. I was real big into.
We're gonna play paintball a lot.
Yeah, we were real big into it. But we were talking about like the different markers or whatever. For anybody who doesn't know, a marker is just a paintball gun. I don't know why it's called a marker, but that's what they call it. But anyway, he was talking, or he was kind of butting into our conversation, and I looked at him and I was like, "Yeah, dude, have you ever heard of?" I said, "Like, have you ever heard of like the Angel Arms X35?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, dude, my cousin's got one of those." And I was like, "Really?" Because I just
gotcha.
yeah. I was like, "Really?" Because I just made that up.
Yeah. It's like at that point I'd have been like, all right, and I just started naming off a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's see how far I can take it. I'm gonna get him to say that the moon's made of cheese.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the pee poopinator? That's Walmart's brand. But so he said, "Yeah, my cousin's got one of those." And I was like, "Really?" Because I just made that up. And he kind of just looked at me, and he was like, and to his credit, he just goes, "Ah, you got me."
That's the funniest part.
Man, God bless him though. He's got he has a Let's Play channel.
He does.
Yeah. Oh, have I not shown you?
No.
Oh, I don't really remember what the name of it is. I'm sure I can find it. But me and Chris Camp were going through some of his videos, and he at some point, I guess he got into a little bit of YouTube beef with another YouTuber.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and somebody made fun of his wife.
No.
Scandalous. And he put this video up on his channel called like a message to all my haters.
Oh, good.
I'm like, bro, like you got like 2 subscribers. You don't have any haters. You don't have any fans. Like, he's
imagine like the person he's beefing with. It's just some person that made the account so he could fuck with him.
Yeah, probably. But so in this video, I don't remember like anything that he said. I remember he said something about his wife at one point. But the thing I do remember is he tries to do this like really dramatic zoom in on his face by bringing his phone closer to his face.
Oh no.
As he's talking. And and he's like sitting in like a hotel lobby doing this.
Yeah.
It's just something that a normal person just simply would not do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If I was like checking into my hotel room, I'm like, what the fuck is this dude doing?
Yeah. I mean, he's just like, he's hitting all the marks for like social ineptitude.
Yeah.
He's also got, he happens to be one of those way too high energy YouTubers.
Oh no, that's the worst.
Yeah. But you wouldn't expect, knowing him personally.
Yeah. I guess he just assumes that that's the right way to go about it.
Well, I mean, they all fucking do it.
Yeah.
But in all his videos, he kind of slurred his words a lot when he talked.
Yeah.
So all that energy is just kind of like, it doesn't come out any more enunciated. It just comes out really, really loud and slurred. So each video starts off and he's just like, blah, 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 blah. Not good. 0 out of 5 stars.
Would not recommend. Yeah, I always wondered what happened to that guy.
He's working on his YouTube career. And you know what? Best of luck to him.
Yeah, best of luck.
I mean, for fuck's sake, we started a podcast, so
yeah. That's every time I hear somebody do it, I'm like, well, fuck, I got a podcast. So,
yeah.
I'm like, maybe it turns into something, maybe it doesn't. I like doing it, so fuck it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, at least it's fun to do.
Yeah.
I just I like the whole process of it, like recording it, editing it, and sending it out and everything. And yeah, I like it. So
well, also I think it's interesting too, because we vary enough on certain topics that we can still have in-depth, nuanced conversations about certain things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not going to get upset with you because you think differently than I do on something. That's not a way that you conduct yourself.
Yeah. I mean, which is interesting too, because I feel like politically, me and you, we didn't kind of grow together on that. Because we both took different paths in life. That's not to say that like one of us is a fucking drug dealer and the other one's a lawyer. Yeah. It's just, we just didn't live the same life. So it's interesting that me and you kind of hit on as many same points as we do.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I think a lot of I don't want to say like anti-government, but my push for smaller government comes from the fact that I worked in the military. Like I was part of the military. So
you like saw it firsthand.
Yeah. I saw like the ineptitude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, like y'all don't
like, oh, this runs all the way up to the top.
Yeah. I was like, all of it's full. It's all just bullshit.
Yeah.
So, and I think that a lot of people that join, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't join and they kind of see it too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also the way that you kind of look at things. Like that's kind of how I view things, and people don't necessarily view things the same way that I view them.
Yeah.
So at the same time, I'm trying to do a better job of taking a step back and observing what other people are saying, and at least taking into account what they're saying without trying to formulate what I'm going to say next. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I definitely get where you're going from. And I try to do the same thing too. Now, I still start a lot of shit on Facebook simply because that's fun.
Yeah. Well, you're doing it like as a gag.
Yeah, it's like a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, you're doing a bit.
Yeah. I'm not doing it because that's,
Yeah, because I've seen you say some shit that you totally don't like agree with.
Yeah. It's just, whoever I can get a rise out of.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just fun to me. But if I'm having like an actual for real conversation with somebody, I try to be diplomatic. In instances where I don't agree with somebody, and try to search for a common ground. And I never really get into an argument with somebody with the intention to bring them to my side. Usually, if I'm in an argument with somebody, or we're, debating a topic, we're just kind of bouncing ideas and viewpoints off of each other.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not like at the end of this, you're going to agree with me. Because if you get into an argument with somebody and you think you're going to convince them, especially on like polarizing topics, it's not going to fucking happen, and all you're going to do is make yourself mad.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is I think that comes a lot with age, especially from what I've noticed, is that when I was younger, a lot of things were black and white. And as I got older, the more and more I'm seeing gray everywhere.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So many things like huge points of contention for me, like when I was a kid. Probably probably like from the ages of like 13 to about 16. Were like my religious views, my views on like, homosexuality and things like that were very, very guarded. And anytime that there was something that kind of went against the way I felt about those things, I was like, I was very prone to become like hostile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you immediately get like, you're like, the fuck are you saying?
Yeah. And now it's like, I almost don't care if somebody doesn't feel the way I do.
No. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't care anymore.
Like, I got my own shit I'm worried about over here.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I feel like the older that I get, the more I'm like, I care less about people who hardly know me, what they think of me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm just like, but at the same time, like, and I try to treat other people that same way, that I know that they really don't give a fuck of what I think about them, but at least I try to be nice to them.
Yeah. That at the end of the day is just,
like at the end of the day,
be cordial, be amicable.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's like I hopefully had more better interactions with people than I did shitty interactions.
Yeah.
Like,
and you can kind of be in control of how many shitty or good or positive interactions you have with people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not to say you want to have, the odd psychopath who comes up and stabs you in the ass. That can happen and has happened.
Or you don't want to like go around and give people fucking limp dick handshakes all day.
Yeah. And then make a video to all your haters.
But people say I'm not really this nice. Jokes like, because I am. And then you're like, all of a sudden you see like a limp hand stick out of the frame.
Big floppy hand. I shake hands the way I want to shake hands.
Oh, God.
God bless him, though.
Yeah, like just the older I get, the more I'm just like, I don't really give a fuck what anybody thinks anymore. Like I'm still over here like milling through my own shit like I got going on.
Yeah.
I don't have time. I don't have time to be concerned with kind of what you're doing over there. I really don't give a fuck.
As long as you're not stepping on my toes.
Yeah. I'm just one of the I've got to the point now where it's just kind of live and let live. Like as long as what you're doing isn't like impacting me negatively, like in my face, like, or like it's going to come back and be an issue later or whatever.
Yeah.
I really don't care. I don't.
It's like, yeah, if you're like, if you're trying to make the new Branch Davidians, I might have some choice words for you.
Yeah.
But that being said, I don't want the ATF to go and burn you all alive, which they will.
Oh yeah.
But like, it's like, I'm trying to think of like what recent things, outside of like the whole social justice, blah, 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 all that is. Look, all those people, they're just doing it for clout. The ones that are trying to get people canceled and stuff. Oh, yeah. They don't actually care. It doesn't actually mean that much to them.
And I agree with that. But at the same time, let me play devil's advocate real quick, because I think it's an important thought experiment, is that do you think that some of them, they start out not believing it, but the longer that they're in it, like they feel pressured and like, like they're kind of fighting their own psyche?
Like if they're surrounded by that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of like a survival tactic.
Yeah. And well, the thing is too, is like a lot of the reason why I say that is because a lot of the viewpoints that I have as far as like socially is concerned is like I would very much consider myself like a classical liberal.
Yeah.
Somebody that's just like, I want you to be able to say whatever it is you want to say, whenever it is you want to say it. You have to deal with the fallout, but that's your right. You get to do that. You know what I mean? So I think that at the age that I'm at now, I would have been more apt to maybe vote Democrat back in the day, because I was just like, leave people the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, I agree.
And that's the thing too, is like I see a lot of people who are older like that, and I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like, is it that they've been in it for so long that they are still fighting that battle of like what they still think the party is?
I guess what he does. So when I say social justice warrior, the thing that kind of comes to mind for me is like, those really like vitriolic, hateful. I mean, they're hateful.
Oh, you're talking about like the extreme left, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I think that there's a lot of people within that group that really are that way. They really, and they come by it honest. They come by their hate honest. But I think that there are some people also who kind of fall into that group, and they put on a show. So here's what I'm trying to say. So you have this social justice warrior groups that, they think that picking on the little guy is somehow the same thing as, being a civil rights activist. And it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not to say that you can't focus on several problems at once, but if, kind of think of it this way, say that all the world's problems are fruit on a tree, right? And the ones that are not problems anymore fall to the ground. Those people are going over and picking up the old problems and saying, hey, look at this big, huge problem that I found. And they get this like sense of like almost like a hero complex, from I guess canceling people.
Well, I think the thing is like, if people weren't as hostile as they were, we could have a conversation about what the issues are without it getting to where like there's going to be these extremes on either side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because once it gets to the boiling point, I mean, it's only going to be a negative outcome.
And I always think it's interesting because I'll talk to somebody who, I don't have similar viewpoints with or whatever. And most of the time when I'm talking with them one-on-one, they seem more open to, because I try to be open with them. I'm like, hey,
yeah,
like, you feel the way that you feel. I feel the way that I feel. It doesn't change the way that I think about you. You're still the person that I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I feel like once you get into like that group setting, you know what I mean? Where that's kind of where like tempers start flaring.
It all kind of like compounds on each other.
Yeah. Because it's hard to be that crazy, because you see some of these people and you're like, oh my God, this person is a fucking insane person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, if you stuck them in a room with somebody with an opposing viewpoint, as long as that person with the opposing viewpoint wasn't somebody that was looking to pick a fight, you know what I mean?
They're like cool-headed and diplomatic.
Yeah. Like the person that is like that would be, they would have no leg to stand on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think at some point you have to be able to go to these people and have a one-on-one conversation with them, and then take a step back and be like, well, why are you getting so angry about it? And why is it that I'm sitting here having a calm conversation with you? Like, do you not see how much like this is affect? Do you think this is healthy for you, for this to affect you the way that it does?
I mean, that's exactly how it would be if like I had a conversation with like 15-year-old me.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Why are you so upset about this shit?
Yeah.
Like, who cares if someone's gay? Like, who cares if, whatever. Like, it's not affecting you. Who cares?
Oh, absolutely. I would tell the young me, the same thing. I'd be like, and stop giving a fuck what people think about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, just do your own fucking thing and everybody else can get over it.
And a lot of it too is, we see, this is like, take for instance, these like confrontation, like videos that you see. Like a lot of the times, like when the recording starts, when the video starts, it's already reached the boiling point.
Yeah, it's already reached the boiling point. You're not seeing what's led up to that.
Yeah, so so immediately you're just exposed to like the worst of both sides. So at that point, whoever happens to be watching it, whichever side you agree with, or whichever side you lean towards, that's the one you're immediately gonna take their side.
Yeah.
In whatever's happening in this video or in this article or whatever. So whenever I see things like that, as much as easy as it is to just say, oh, there it is right there, plain as day, I always try to find some backstory.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of it too is a lot of just normal people see a lot of like these articles and stuff, this clickbait stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, there's like, oh, there was 15 murders today in Atlanta. And then you like open it up and then you like start reading and it's like talking about some other shit. And then like down like the bottom or whatever, it was like 10 were by natural causes. They were all over 80.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, yeah. And I think that, I don't know what number I would give, but a large percentage of people, I think, just read headlines.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing too, is like I've caught myself doing it.
Yeah.
Where I'll read something and automatically like I get a reaction out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you have to train yourself not to do that.
Yeah. And then I have to go, okay, hold on. If it's really that important to me, I will read it. I will see what this has to say before I make a decision.
But how many times is it fucking nothing at all?
Yep. And then most of the time I look at it and I go, it's not worth my time. And I just go on about my day. It's like,
so many times these articles with these clickbaity head titles are just to get a rise out of people. Many times I've read them, the articles, and it's nothing. It's a fucking nothing burger.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that they're not trying to sell you the article. They're trying to sell you the ads on the page.
Yeah. They just want you to click. If you click, all you have to do is click.
Yep. They want you to click it and they want your eyeballs to see all the different ads on the page.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go, okay, well, where's our money? Because we got them to see your ad. And then the company that was posting the ads on there, they go, oh, well, hopefully in the back of their mind, they want to buy Nesquik next time they're in public. So
I wonder if they like accidentally do like some reverse conditioning. Like somebody's going to walk down the aisle and like see a box of Captain Crunch and be like, the fucking juice. Yeah, there was when we first tried to record episode 11, I told you about that article. It said black father murders son for eating his cheesecake.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, what the hell? So I was like, that's crazy. So I clicked the article and I was reading it. And in the article, the actual like text body of the article never once mentioned his race. Not once. His race was only mentioned in the headline.
Yeah, because they know they can get a rise out of you. Like you're going to have a visceral reaction to that. You're going to click on the article.
So it's like these people who are already like predisposed to think that black people are savages are going to be the ones like, look at this. Here we go, right here. There's my confirmation bias.
There. It's confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what they're looking for. And then the people that are vehemently, the people that are like, oh, all these fucking white supremacists out here, and then they're going to go and read it, and they're going to be like making up crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter what the fucking color of his skin was.
Yeah, it was a guy that killed his son.
It was a guy that killed his fucking son, and I don't give a fuck if he's purple. Like, he's a piece of shit. Like, he killed your fucking kid over some goddamn cheesecake.
It's just, it's almost, it's like, how did they get away with this legally? Like, but it's freedom of speech. I mean, they have the right to do that. They can fucking publish articles like that. It's like, you have to take responsibility.
Yeah, you have to take responsibility for the things that you decide to take in.
Yeah.
What you allow to bother you.
even beyond that, you have to take responsibility for the way, I don't want to say the way that you feel, but you have to take responsibility for, I think that's right, the way that you feel. Because if you feel a certain way about something, you have a choice. You can react or you can act. And like a reaction would be to see that headline. A reaction would be, look at black people. This is the kind of thing that black people do, because that's what that headline was feeding you. An act would be to read into the article and see it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's not a race thing. It's a horrible thing that happened, but it's not a race thing.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
And I feel like more often than not, people just react.
Well, it's easy.
It's very easy.
React. Yeah. It's hard to have.
You can't not react.
It's hard to have self-discipline, and it's hard for, especially when you get a visceral reaction out of something like that, and for you to go, hold on just a second, and then you take a step back and you go, let me read that as if I'm not the person that I am right now, or I think a lot of the times, like if I start to get upset over something, especially now, what I'll try to do is I try to take myself out of the situation, and I try to go, okay, if I was not me right now, would I still feel the same way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I were just an observer, somebody that didn't have any skin in the game. It's like, and if that's the case, then I'll go further into why it is that I think that way. But if I step back and I go, if I'm just an observer or whatever, and I go, oh, you're acting in an irrational manner, then I knock it off, or at least I try to.
Yeah. And that takes a lot of effort. I mean, that takes a lot of energy. And I feel like most people would rather not expend the energy to be introspective like that, and would rather, use that energy to be mad.
Oh yeah. Well, right. Because it's easy to just be mad. It's easy to just whatever emotion that happens to be on the surface at that time, that's just the one you go with. Whatever percentage is easiest for you. And
I mean, I've said it several times on this podcast, and I feel like I've made it clear that I almost have like a disdain for social media, because I feel like I honestly believe that most of the sociological issues that our country is facing is largely due in part to social media and the conditioning that social media does to people. I mean, when you scroll through Facebook for 30 minutes, how many different articles are you going to come past? I mean, countless.
Especially now, because they're shoving articles on your face every day.
Yeah, probably one every minute.
Like I remember when I first joined Facebook, it was mostly just people posting pictures when they were going to parties.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's all it was. It was just like, oh, so-and-so's getting drunk tonight. And then you like see the picture of them like throwing up on the ground.
Yeah. And then you go, haha.
Yeah.
And then you post like dumbass in the comments and you go to bed.
Yeah. And then you like give them a thumbs up.
Yeah. Now you scroll through Facebook for 30 minutes and you have to try not to be a racist.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too, is like even like the meme pages that I'm following, they're starting to lean left and right. It's like, and I don't want that. It's like, I don't want a page that I go to that's supposed to make me laugh to lean some way. I don't want that.
I had recently a couple of pages that are groups I was in that I left because it was just becoming political. I'm like, fuck, I can get away from it.
Yeah. It's like, everything in my life doesn't have to revolve around the political discussion. That's not how I want to live my life. Like,
it's like there's more to it. There's more to life than this, than just being mad about the people across the aisle. You need to be mad at the people who one up all your stories and have limp dick handshakes.
Yeah. Those are the people you get mad at.
Yeah, those are the ones you need to be really angry with. How dare you shake my hand like that? How dare you lean across the table and say the talent that these hands have I can't explain it. Oh God, makes me sick. But I think that's probably about time.
Yeah, I think so. It might have went a little bit over because I have not been keeping a stopwatch on this, but
Yeah, me either.
I think this podcast went okay. It might be easier next time if maybe we do some video so I can actually see you.
Yeah,
Makes it a little bit more personal instead of just staring at the Zoom thing.
I've just been looking at the picture on the Dancing Plague of 1518. All these people kind of moshing in a dirt pit.
Let's open up this fucking pit.
Yeah, I want to see a fucking wall.
It's just like some Norwegian death metal band.
Yeah.
That they're doing like pig squeals.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Did I tell you about the death metal band with like? Oops, hang on. I just bumped my mic. The death metal band with like the crazy long name.
No.
Let me see if I can find it right quick.
But while you're looking for that, I was thinking that next time that we have to do a remote one, we might be able to stream it live on Facebook, which might be a good idea.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. I have to get it. I have to figure out how to get that.
Next time we do a remote podcast, we'll have to do that. That would be good. We can have people come in and ask questions, and we can interact with the normal people that usually interact with us there. So
we should set up a phone line too, so we can have people call in.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Like they used to do on the public access TV shows.
Oh yeah, that would be real good.
Yeah, that would be fun. We let's try that. I also want to get the YouTube page started up. I was going to do that last weekend, but I went to hell for a week.
Like the Doom guy.
Yeah, except I wasn't killing demons. I was just burning in lava.
You're like punching kidney stones.
Yeah. I'm gonna get our YouTube page set up and put all of our episodes up on there, because I know a lot of people listen to podcasts on YouTube.
Yeah,
it'll be just another venue.
Yeah,
and maybe we'll attract an audience there. Who knows? So that metal band, this band is from Durban, South Africa, and the name of the band. It's all and was it, what is it when you have several letters that stand for different words? Is that an acronym?
Yeah, an acronym.
So the acronym for this band is XAVLEFFASSITIMIWOAMNDUTROABCWAPWAEIPPOHFFFX.
And that's an acronym.
And it stands for,
oh God,
acidic vaginal liquid explosion generated by mass amounts of filthy fecal fisting and sadistic septic syphilic sodomy inside the infected, maggot-infested womb of a molested nun dying under the roof of a burning church while a priest watches and ejaculates and emits perverse pleasure over his first fresh fetus. So there you go. That's the most.
I'm trying to decide whether or not they were being facetious when they did that.
They had to be. They had to be.
Or if they are just like super cringy 13-year-olds.
It's just like how
it's one of the two. It's one of the two.
Yeah, it's only there's no middle ground here. It's one of those options. So
they had to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna give it the cringiest name possible, and that's what we're gonna go with. Like we're gonna play into it. Like if that was me and I was like the vocalist for that band, like I would do that, and I'd just fucking lean into it as hard as I can. I would put on like a character.
Yeah. Like Odorous Ungerous.
Yeah.
From Gore. Yeah, their band logo just looks like a like a pile of firewood. It's just it's nothing. It's just a bunch of streaks. Who am I to shit on their creative vision? Well, yeah. So I think this podcast went well. Like I said, we'll work on the audio quality. I just got all I have to do on my end is get everything moved into this room directly next to me to get rid of that hollow sound. And then,
and I'm sure I can pick up some stuff I can take with me on jobs and everything and make the audio quality a little bit better.
Yeah, but
we're gonna work on it. But
we're working on it, so hopefully this works.
I think that this was good, though. I think that this will allow us an opportunity to release more episodes, which is good for us.
Absolutely. I really want this to be at least bi-weekly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of tri-monthly.
Yeah. And when you say tri-monthly, it's like we're gonna try this month.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna give it an old college try. Well, Wesley, do you have anything else to say?
I don't. Just thank you, everybody, for the continued support. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Me personally, I've been blown away by the amount of people who, by the amount of downloads that we've had so far. And I think the last time you checked, we were almost at 900 downloads. So really close to 100 downloads per episode.
Which is good. That's really good.
Yeah, it's really good considering that we're just two dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks again.
Who knows? Maybe more and more people will like it. The only way that they can do that is by liking and subscribing. That way,
yes,
we get more people to come listen. That would be good. We could do more episodes.
Yeah, and leave a review on your preferred podcast platform. And also, if you don't mind, I'm pretty sure our Facebook page got zucked and we can't advertise our stuff anymore. So if you could, share the podcast with your friends.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, this is all going to be grassroots stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, all right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
See you, everybody.